1913 was the year the United States put the income tax officially on the books. What a disappointment that was. The United States has always been a country of the American dream, where the individual pulls himself up by his bootstraps. Love for neighbor has been embraced by local charities and churches, and people in private organizations have always proven to be better managers than the government. Of course, we need a government structure so that there isn't anarchy, and we need tax dollars going to fund public infrastructure and our national defense. But do we really need the money to create a welfare state and a socialist system like those of the left are trying to usher in? Remember, the left contains people who want to twist basic American economic truth. Remember the famous quote from Elizabeth Warren?
I hear all this, well, this is class warfare, this is whatever. No, there is nobody in this country who got rich on his own. Nobody. You built a factory out there, good for you, but I want to be clear, you moved your goods to market on the roads the rest of us paid for. Yep. You hired workers, the rest of us paid to educate. You were safe in your factory because of police forces and fire forces that the rest of us paid for. You didn't have to worry that marauding bands would come and seize everything at your factory and hire someone to protect against this because of the work the rest of us did. Now look, you built a factory and it turned into something terrific or a great idea. God bless. Keep a big hunk of it. But part of the underlying social contract is you take a hunk of that and pay forward for the next kid who comes along.
Her logic has been debunked. The concept that the current American dream was accomplished off of oppression is false, and the idea that there's a missing link in the system of payments is incorrect. We all who pay taxes have a portion of our tax dollars go forward to public infrastructure. And there's what is called intergenerational benefits, from which those who came before us help pay for things for which we now benefit. Last I checked, we don't have slavery in the United States. Each worker gets paid his economic value for the work that he produces. We have created the fairest system possible under regulated capitalism. People are incentivized to be productive and gain the fruits of their labor. And we, the people of the United States, always rebel against government corruption because that's at our core. We were responsible for the Boston Tea Party, where we dumped 342 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor in justifiable defiance to a government that wanted to tax us unfairly. Taxation without representation. We, the people of the U.S., fought in the Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War I, World War II, and onward against that which is vile. And we continue that fight by undoing the policies of the left and trying to preserve the America our forefathers instituted. A glimpse of that could be seen in December 2017, when we saw the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act pass the House and the Senate. It radically changed the U.S. in the most positive of ways. Famously, it brought down the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. And in fact, it brought down the tax rate for almost every income tax bracket. It took away the horrible individual mandate, which was the Obamacare-era fine for those who didn't have health insurance. Remember the cost of $695 per adult who didn't have health insurance? Yeah, well, that was taken away. People were able to start keeping more of their money. H&R Block reported that the average tax cut was approximately $1,200 for processed returns for 2018. And you know what the economic results have been? Millions of jobs added to the U.S. economy, the lowest unemployment level since 1969, and economic growth over 2%. But the New York Times doesn't want you to believe that. They want to spin the narrative that there's no such thing as a free tax cut. They want to make you believe that the government lost money from Trump's tax cuts. But it didn't. The U.S. government revenue went up by 4% because of the economic principle called the Laffer curve. A key part of the theory is that if you decrease tax rates, you can actually increase government tax revenue. Why? Because people are motivated to leave the shadow economy and to start businesses and hire people because the government is taking less from them. With more people legally working, the government can gain more revenue than they did when they sought to be oppressive, and people hid through them through tax evasion. The issue is that we have an incredible government spending problem. We are over $23 trillion in debt. We need to go back to some common sense economic principles to get us out of debt. We need, and possibly are, finding ways to raise our GDP more than ever before. And we need to cut spending on failing government programs. It seems like having our NATO allies pay their fair share, getting out of the endless wars, supporting our local industries while holding China to account is helping. But more needs to be done. Under conservative leadership, there is hope. while all that is promised from the left is higher taxes and nationalized socialistic industries that would guide us into a modern version of Bernie Sanders' beloved Soviet Union. America has always been able to solve its own problems, and it can do so concerning the national debt. I'm Abagail Hamman for Rebel News. Like and subscribe to never miss a video.